Today I'm going to be smoking about a 4.5 pound pork loin. Over the last few years I've smoked pretty much everything, but I've never actually done a pork loin. I think mainly because a lot of times, pork loins are, cooked in the oven, barbecue them. Not necessarily always something that, you'd smoke, because I think a lot of people think low and slow is the way to go when it comes to smoking, but there's not a whole lot of fat on a pork loin. So they can smoke and they can cook relatively quick. So basically, all that I did is I just rubbed it with some of my favorite pork rub. You can kind of use whatever kind of rub you're acclimated to, whatever you enjoy. I didn't use any kind of binder or anything on it because I don't think it needs it. It just I put the rub on and kept it on for probably about the last 14 hours or so. And we're going to go outside in just a moment and get it on the smoker. I'm going to be using an electric Traeger smoker today. I got a lot of stuff to do around the house, so I don't want to have to be tending to it too much. This is pretty much plug it in and go. Here's kind of what the inside looks like. It's got a pellet box in there if you're not familiar. Pellets kind of drop in through an auger. I'm actually using applewood. I would usually use like hickory or something, but I wanted to try out some applewood. So we're going to get this thing warming up for about 5-10 minutes or so, and then we'll go ahead and put the grill on. So I have the Traeger heated up. I'm going to be smoking this about 225. I'm not really sure on time. I don't really go by time, I go by temperature. I think it's been a few hours. I'm going to be going to about 145 degrees into just kind of keeping it safe. And then at 145 I'll take it inside and I'll wrap it in foil for about half an hour before cutting in. That should actually bring the temp up just a little bit more. It's really important with pork, of course, that you cook it to the right temperature. Don't let it get into the danger zone. I know that the USDA recommends 140, I believe it is, to 145 as like a medium on pork, all the way up to 160. But if I cook this up to 160 or a little bit over that, it's going to be really dry. I want to keep it as moist as I can get it. So open up the Traeger here. You can see there's a little smoke coming out of this thing. Kind of doing this a little uncouth right now just because I don't have any kind of tongs on me, so I'm going to go ahead and stick it on actually with the foil. Flip it right up there. There's a lot of different ways that you can actually do this. Some people will say you put the fat side down because the juices that run through it will get caught. I always do a fat side up, because I just think, that the fat that's rendering kind of goes back into the meat. But quite honestly, with a pork loin, I don't really think it matters because there's just not a whole lot of fat in that meat anyway. So it's all about just cooking it up to 140, 145, going from there. All right, we'll check on it pretty soon. I'm just going to go ahead and stick a thermometer in it here. Got that baby in there. Get the thing set. And we will be back soon. Okay, so the pork loin has been on now, the smoker, for 3 hours. It's at 135 degrees right now, internal temperature. I want to bring that to about 145 before I take it off. But since I got about 10 more degrees to go, I'm going to go ahead and put a glaze on it. And I simply just made a strawberry glaze. I used about a quarter cup of strawberry jam, half a cup of red wine, a quarter cup of balsamic vinegar, some salt and pepper in there. That's about it. And then I just kind of boiled it just to reduce it a little bit. So this is the first time opening it. Looks like there's a lot of smoke coming out here. I'm going to go ahead and flip it also, and the reason I'm going to do that is just because I did smoke it fat side up. There we go. And I want the glaze on this side of it, so until it's done, it's going to be right here. Not looking bad. Good. And this will just add a little bit of sweet and saltiness to it, just like I mean, the rub will give it some saltiness to it, but this will give a little bit more sweetness, but then just with a touch of saltiness as well. Especially reducing it down. If you reduce it down too much, it gets too salty. Alright, that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and close it up. And hopefully this last 10 degrees won't take too long. Okay, so I took it off the smoker at about 1:45. I wrapped it in foil, and I actually wrapped a towel in it to get a little bit more, keep a little bit more of the heat. And it only went up a couple more degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. See what the thing looks like. So if you can see, I mean, it looks pretty good. The glaze on there actually is pretty good looking. All right, so there's that. I mean, it's got a little smoke ring. Being it's electric smoker, I notice it doesn't get as good of a smoke ring all the time, so, but I can deal with that. So that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna eat.